Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to hear a story titled, I, a 37-year-old female, want to know if I was the a-hole to back out of my girls' trip because I didn't want to cheat on my husband. And guys, this story here, this is rare. This is about a gal who is the hero for once. This is about a wife and mother, she's 37, who is loyal and supportive of her husband and refuses to go on a girls' trip where all her single girlfriends are encouraging her to cheat. No joke. They want to screw up her marriage, and she ain't having any part of that. And you're going to see how she handles this whole thing, and eventually, well, it ends on a high note. Now, that'll be a very good one to go over here, guys, for a bunch of reasons here. Number one, to show you why I say all the time, pay attention who your girl hangs out with. And they're going to rub off on her. Now, sometimes you may have a gal like this that actually has integrity and loyalty and love for her husband, that she's not going to engage in this bull crap. But the odds are they're going to rub off on her in a bad way, so you always pay attention who she hangs out with. Additionally, there are gals out there that are jealous as hell. They're single, and they don't want to be, and they're going to try to sabotage their other girlfriends that are in relationships or marriages because they have what they can't get, that type of thing. So you have to be very careful of these type of things. And lastly, there are some gals out there that actually are honorable and do the right thing, are loyal. That's wonderful. So if I come across a story like that, God damn it, I'm going to share it. So, but listen how this whole thing plays out with her so-called friends here. She says, I, a 37-year-old female, want to know if I was the a-hole to back out of a girls' trip because I didn't want to cheat. My girlfriend and I met in a local mommy group and agreed to do play dates with our kids. I was a stay-at-home mom, and connecting with other moms was a way of having adult interaction with kids in tow. Let's call her Shay. Shay and I got close, and she had other female friends that she wanted to introduce me to. I was excited to be welcomed into this friend group, and we were going to celebrate going on a girls' trip. Well, also, another lesson here is about the girls' trips. So this woman here is the only married one in the group. However, the friend she has, Shay, has children. In other words, she's a single MOM. Shocker. So either she obviously has bad choices in men, and these kids are a result of her hookups, or a marriage already got screwed up, and then the friends are her friends. I was 100% down for it until I found out they wanted to do an adults-only NSFW cruise. I'm not sure what NSFW is, but I'm sure you guys will tell me. They're all single, and we're excited to do this cruise to hook up with guys on the cruise and have some fun. The thing is, I'm married. We've been together 14 years. Because the nature of this trip changed from just a girls to a sexual exploration with other adults trip, I figured that it was a given that my husband is automatically invited. I mean, if I'm married, so fidelity is expected. So she's actually thinking like, well, I'm married, so why would I be hooking up with other guys in this cruise? So of course my husband will come. Because first it was a girls' trip, and then it was a cruise to do this. So in the group conversation at Shay's house with some girls on the phone about it, I said that I will need to know the new dates ASAP, since original plans have changed. So my mom can watch the kids and my husband can schedule off to come. I bet she heard crickets. He can't come. They grew silent, and my friend Shay gives me a dirty look and says, wow. And I ask what's wrong. She didn't say anything, and everyone else was just uncomfortably silent. I asked, is there a problem with my husband coming? Shay said, yeah, it's a girls-only thing. I didn't think you would be that kind of friend. That kind of friend? You're mad at me because I don't want to go on this thing and be, the third wheel while you guys are out banging guys half your age just to prove you have something. And so I want to bring my husband, and I'm the bad guy here. I pointed out this is an adults-only basically a sex cruise, and so why wouldn't I bring my husband? Am I just supposed to watch you all hook up and be the miserable third wheel? And Shay says, well, and I cut her off because at this point I'm a little mad. I say I like SCX too, and I need my husband there so I can have somebody to sleep with. Shay says there's going to be men there on the ship. In other words, there'll be guys there. You can cheat on your husband. No joke, guys. Another friend spoke up and said there's plenty of men to choose from, so you don't have to be alone. And then I realized that they knew I was married and didn't care. Oh, they know you're married, and they do care. They do care because they want to screw it up. They're all single, and they want to make sure you're single too. What'd I tell you guys? They're expecting me to cheat on my husband. The way I explained it is, according to them, they're uncomfortable with my husband being there, and they would feel much better if I had sex with strangers instead. No, they're just trying to ruin your marriage, so they don't have to feel like failures themselves. They didn't say it's better for me to have sex with strangers, but it's implied, because they're planning on meeting guys and having some freaky fun on the cruise. They will be uncomfortable with doing that if my husband is there. Yeah, because he'll then know how much a bunch of hoe bags they are. I don't understand how it's just us girls if they're going to pick out men to have sex with. It's not going to be just us girls if we are partnering up with men, but they are comfortable with my husband being there, and the solution to them being happy is if he did not come. And if I didn't want to be lonely and want to be able to have sex while I'm on the trip too, then I should just pick up one of the guys if they're going to be available on the cruise ship. I don't understand why I have to pick some random guy that I don't know to have sex with him when I already married my chosen sex partner. Well, honey, because you said you've been married 14 years, and I'm going to assume based on her actions here that she's one of the good ones that was good while they were still dating. And so you've missed this era going on since it's been 14 years. It's 2024, so you got married to your husband in 2010. You were probably dating at least a few years in that. So, you missed out a period of time when things gotten really bad in Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, and so this is kind of shocking to you. They don't seem to understand I'm not comfortable sleeping with someone else that's not my husband. They seem almost confused by why I would take fidelity so seriously. Because they're all a bunch of liars and cheaters. Because they don't care. Because that's what, sadly, a lot of our society has become. If my husband went on a trip with his male friends, I would be pretty upset if they pushed him to sleep with other women if they didn't respect our marriage. Fair enough. But it doesn't matter that I voiced that I wouldn't be comfortable because according to them being uncomfortable outweighs me being uncomfortable, and that in order for them to be comfortable, my only choices are tagging along and not hooking up with any of the guys and just watching them all hook up with guys or cheat on my husband. It seems pretty weird that those are the only two options. Well, this is the problem when you have a married woman hanging out with a bunch of single women, because they want to go do single women things, okay? And to them, you're the boring one, and deep down, either they are all divorced or they've never been married. They want to be married because I don't care what anybody fucking says. At some point, every gal wants to have a ring on her finger, whether it's just purely just for the ceremony or so she can feel like there's some guy that actually would marry me as opposed to use me for my body. They want that at some point. So they don't have that. They're jealous. And people will try to ruin people that are jealous. This is why, again, you pay attention to who your girl hangs out with. And if she's married, hanging out with a bunch of single girls is a bad idea because they want to do single girl things. I don't totally understand why my husband being present would make them feel uncomfortable because they are single women and they feel they have to do whatever they want to do. What does my husband present have anything to do with that? Because they're trying to screw up your marriage, that's why. And they don't want him to see their hoish natures. I had a little bit of a dark thought, and I was thinking maybe they want me to be in some sort of compromising position so they could take pictures of it and maybe share on social media or accidentally send to my husband. Why else would a group of single women want to isolate a married woman from her husband and push and pressure her to having sex with people that are not her husband, even though she voiced being uncomfortable not wanting that? Because they want to screw up your marriage, that's why. So I'm thinking maybe it's a setup, but then again, I don't know if I'm just thinking the worst of people because I can't wrap my head around why it's such a big deal about me wanting to sleep with other men, blah, 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 blah. That doesn't sound like a girl's trip to me. If you're just going to place to partner up with men, it sounds like a group date type of thing, and I don't understand why I have to be chosen, why I can't have my chosen date. Yeah, she just doesn't get this lifestyle. You know, she's been a mom and a wife, and her family's been so important to her. But she said she met this girl, this mommy kids type of thing, and understandably she misses talking to adults when you're on kids all the fucking time. But well, she's learning what is out there now. Shay says, won't tell anything, but bringing my husband disrespectful as well. I got really mad and lashed out and said I don't cheat on my husband and I won't be hooking up with randoms on a floating STD ship, and backed out of the trip and went home. Good for her. And this is when you cut these bitches off because they're not your friends. Friends won't try to screw up a good thing in your life. Of course, I told my husband, who was upset that they're pressuring me into cheating on him, and he says if I go, he goes. Well, good for her for telling him, being honest, but if I'm the husband, I'm saying, no, you no longer should be hanging out with these gals. Are trying to screw up our marriage, all that. They're not your friends. Done. That's what I would have said. I was going to put my foot down and say I'm bringing my husband anyway, but now Shay won't even talk to me. Well, that's a good thing. She doesn't answer my calls or texts. Me and my kids are iced out as our kids were friends. Oh, now she's turning the kids against your kids. She was so offended by my automated invite of my husband. Maybe I was wrong not to ask first, but before planning to come along. Was I wrong to assume this was a given since I'm married and single? I haven't been single in a time, and that is now the norm. And she's asking that question. Would you consider a plan to sleep with random people a girl's trip? That's what girls' trips are by and large nowadays. It really is sad. She's thinking, okay, we'll go to the spa, we'll be on the cruise and drink and have some good food and like see some things. To everybody else, it's get drunk and act like a bunch of hoes for a week. Her ending her friendship makes me doubt I handled it well. Am I crazy, or is this expectation unreasonable? No, you handled it just right. You're a good woman. You're loyal. And that's rare nowadays. And these so-called friend of yours are talking about, that's sadly quite normal, the girls' trip type of things. But these women are not your friends. Now, these gals were your so-called friend Shay's friends. You made friends with Shay at that mommy and kids daycare thing. But Shay's not your friend either, because she obviously knows you love your husband, but they're all fucking jealous. Remember, Shay is a single MOM. And believe me, she'd like to have a dude, but she obviously doesn't for a reason. And they're trying to spoil it. So, no, it's over. End of freaking story. Now, she goes on to some details here and with a couple updates. She says, the original plan was a spa resort in the Caribbean with women only on day spas. Okay, that's what she thought was original. We had dates and met up to pay deposits. And then, boom, the cruise was mentioned. Everybody beside me immediately agreed on the cruise. Having a group of men with us at all times didn't sound like it was a girls' trip anymore. I listened to them plan the whole thing without my input, and that's why I put my husband in it. Group dating and hooking up is not a girls' trip. It's not a girls' trip for you, but it is for a lot out there. She said the cruise details, I never got as far details because we bickered over the SEX partners thing. When I Googled it, I don't find anything they described. Now I'm even more confused with their behavior. Maybe there is no adults only SEX cruise. I found nothing they described. They lied. Well, there are cruises, I believe, that are 21 and older. So maybe that's what they were talking about. Or who knows what was going on with these a-holes. But I'm guessing it's probably a 21 and up cruise. And these women, I'm sure they're all in their 30s looking for guys that are 21 years old. The friendship. Shayna hung out a lot, and she was a very nice and funny woman. We had a lot of interest and seemed to naturally vibe with or without any play dates. She seemed so nice that the Shay I encountered that night seemed like a different person. She went from so nice and so sweet to this one moment of I don't know what. I was completely out of character. I did not jump to ending the friendship with her because I thought something else is going on with this flock, and this was a fluke. I'm pretty level-headed and try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I thought after cool heads prevail, we could discuss this disconnect. I really thought we had the type of friendship to apologize to each other. I see I was wrong. Yeah, she's an asshole. She's jealous of you. The trip. Not a girls-only trip if men are involved, and I'm not sure why. That's hard to grasp. I was supposed to be a girls' trip, but the plan changed. It's not only a girls' trip if we're partnering up with men. They didn't care about men being in the mix. They wanted they wanted me to be unfaithful. I almost said unbelievable, and actually it is believable, sadly. The trip changed from a girls' trip to men allowed, which I have said numerous times to you, in sexual nature, and because I'm married, I thought he was automatically invited. It's no separated from the group of hookups. The men would be included in the group of activities, and I've said this many times. So she's now in this storytelling also responding to all these commenters. Apparently a lot of commenters were giving her shit. I guess this is her first time posting on Reddit, because guess what? People give you shit. So I'm going to skip over some other things when she's yelling at the people in the comments section. But she says, Shay expressed discomfort about him coming, and I asked why. There was no fight about it, just a question. It might seem crazy, but I actually have discussions with my friends. I like to understand their feelings and viewpoints. The problem comes when I learned she wants me to cheat on my husband. She explains it's better for me to cheat, and the argument and pushback started as I was saying no to her suggestions of cheating. The back and forth is over, so why should I cheat? Yeah, so this Shay chick is really pushing it. They're getting mad at me, but I'm not comfortable and rather not go. I've set up a boundary and have to say right to say no to this trip. You people in the comments keep calling me an a-hole for a thought, and it's your opinion, but it seems crazy to me. It's wrong to simply have a thought and express it in a setting that was appropriate for it. Again, more bitching about the people in the comments section. And so I'm going to skip over some of this stuff because it's more just her responding to the people in the comments section. It goes on. It says, I won't agree to go without him on the cruise because of the problems it will cause and it being inappropriate for me. I backed out again more forcefully and didn't care if they got mad. So good. She's done. I put my foot down, meaning that if they want me there, then he comes along. Otherwise, I'm not going. Going solo is not an option. I don't have a fear of cheating. I am hit on and approached by men in my everyday life. A 20-something-year-old the other day asked me on a date not too long ago, and I have no problem with saying, no, thank you, I'm married. See, she's a good wife. This is not something that I can do solo because I know that it will cross a boundary for my husband. He would not be okay with me attending something of that nature solo. Good. And it's good the husband lays down the law, but the husband, if it was me, I would have said, you know what, honey, you're a good wife and a good mother, and you know what? These asshole women are trying to screw up our marriage. So no more hanging out with them. Better to be with me and the kids than these harpies. And sadly, this is the world we're in. Not every woman's like this, but a lot are. And morally, I agree that it's inappropriate for me. It's not an issue of lack of self-control, but it's just something that married people should not do. This is definitely something that should only be partaking in together or with express consent in some sort of ethical non-monogamy relationship. Well, we know how those all work out. And that doesn't mean she wants us to do that. She's just saying. At the end of the day, me going without him will have put doubt and mistrust in my marriage that doesn't need to be there. And it's not something that I'm hell-bent on doing. I really wanted to do the Caribbean spa resort thing. And me putting my foot down is letting them know my boundaries are set, and if we're going to continue to be friends, you need to respect my marriage and my vows because they are important to me. And if I'm important to you, they should also be important to you as well. Now her last update, she says, drum roll, I blocked all the girls involved, and my hubby and I booked a vacation with the kids later this year. The end. So she's done with those a-holes, done. And so I thought it was a really good one, and I like to share a story when a woman's being great, loyal, loving, putting her husband or family first. And very easily she could have gone on that cruise and cheated, and they probably would have taken pictures and blackmailed her. But you see, it's amazing. Friends are happy when you are doing well and happy, not trying to screw it all up. But there's so many men and women out there, and let's be honest, men do this too. There's jealous men just as well. But women take it to a different level. If they're single and they don't want to be, or who knows what the situation is, or they just screwed things up for themselves, they want everybody to suffer. And I've known some girls that pulled this crap. One in particular I know who tried to screw things up for a gal who's a friend of mine when she got together with her now husband. You know, that girl was counting on her to be her wing girl, and this girl's like, no, I'm done that lifestyle. Done that lifestyle. She wasn't, this girl is a friend of mine, she wasn't in any way like the gals today, but, she had different boyfriends and stuff like that, but this friend of hers, so-called friend, was hoping she'd be a wing girl and would join her in her carousel riding. This girl wasn't up for that. And she tried and messed that whole thing up. So, gotta be careful, guys. Pay attention to who your girl hangs out with. And you sense this bullshit, you got to do something about it. And for the ladies watching this, remember, and I'm sure you're well aware of this, there are a lot that will try to sabotage. And don't waste your time with them. And again, why married women ought to hang out with married women. But not that all married women are saints either. But the single women want to do single girl things. Go ahead and do the single girl things, but not with the married women. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you come across a good story, email it to me. strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, I will. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.